But he used this, it's called IEEPA, this law, to declare an economic emergency and say we need to impose all these tariffs because the country is facing a systemic threat. Now the courts are kind of weighing whether or not that he used that correctly. I think a lot of people would argue that maybe like China, tariffs might be considered national security because they're a major competitor and we have some animosity there, but I don't know how levying 15% tariffs or whatever they may be on Madagascar could be considered an economic emergency. So the Court of International Trade ruled in late May, I believe, that these tariffs were not, he was not able to use IEEPA through this. They remained in place because it's still working its way through the courts.
Sure.
So it went to the Federal Circuit of Appeals, and they had hearing in July on that, and or oral arguments in July, and now we're waiting for the final decision on that. If they agree with the lower court and say that he didn't use IEEPA correctly, then it goes to the Supreme Court, which is kind of what most experts are expecting, that either way they rule, it's going to end up in the Supreme Court, and they'll have the final say on this. And the Trump administration's kind of freaking out in a sense because if they roll back these tariffs, they keep saying there'll be some economic catastrophe, and they're really sort of emphasizing the fact that there's a bunch of revenue now coming in that'll be cut off, and the ramifications would be huge for the country. It's hard to say how much of that is overblown or is done to for media publicity, but it's certainly something that we're watching closely, in the coming months we should expect more details on that, how it all shakes out.